Well, just that thought, it was just devastating. I mean, the grief, the tears, it was like a death. It was literally like someone had died and losing the hope. It's something I think about every single. There is not a day that I do not think about it. And
Mm.
it's always on my mind.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Heart Sleep Podcast. I am super excited for today's episode, and I'm so grateful that you decided to join me today. I am here with some special guests. This is a power couple that I have known for some years. Since I was a little bitty girl, I have known them, and I am so excited that they gave their yes to be here today because they have always inspired me. I've always respected them. I've watched them as we've been at different events for church. We come from that Pentecostal background, you know what I'm saying? And so we had our convocations and our anniversaries. And I just always love to see them at these gatherings because they just fit. They just go together. But I'm going to let y'all see what I'm talking about for yourself. So without further ado, please help me welcome Ryan and Alexica. Hey.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. Thank you for inviting us.
Yes. I'm so excited that you're here. I gave my little intro. I know it wasn't a very formal one. I'm just excited you're with me today. But if you want to share just a little bit about yourselves with those who are watching.
Well, I'll let the ladies start first.
Okay, well, my name is Alexica, better known as Lexi. I am 46, close to 47 years old. As she said, I grew up in a Pentecostal church. I still attend that church today. My father is the current pastor. He's been pastoring for, I think, 18 years at this point. My husband and I have been married for 18 and a half years. So, I would say that God put us together. Grew up, just a little bit about my family. I have a two-parent household, my father and mother. I grew up in a home where my father was extremely present. He was very involved in our lives as children. I have three brothers, and he was a very involved father. I got to see how a husband who loves his wife treats her. My father was very loving to my mother and still is to this day. I mean, he really treats her like royalty. I saw him be affectionate with her. I saw him always put her first in everything. So I got an idea of what to expect when I got married. And so I try not to settle.
Neither should you.
That's awesome. Yes. And what about you, Ryan? Tell us a little bit about you.
Ryan grew up on the south side of Chicago most of my childhood and had a wonderful childhood. Grew up in a loving family. Although I did not have my biological father present, I had a lot of father figures in my life. My mom's second husband, who raised me and my brother Dennis, and also our younger brother, excuse me, Robert. I had uncles who I looked up to growing up, and I'm very happy for that rearing, though, that male presence, because I think sometimes that's missing in a lot of households these days. So we were taught how to be men, and so I had a wonderful childhood. Did go to college. Did not complete college because I got sidetracked by parties and everything else that comes with it. And eventually moved back and been working at my current employer for 20 years. Actually just made 20 years. May 16th. Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's been a huge blessing. And during the course, right before I actually started that job, that's when I met my wife, Lexi. Yeah, that's when I met her.
Yes.
Yeah, so met her downtown Chicago. I was working as a security guard, and I
Mhm.
saw her come in, and little did I know, Probably gonna marry that woman right there.
Yes, you better
Yeah,
speak
probably
it.
gonna marry her. Yeah. So, and here we are, 18 years later, still fighting, still loving, and trying to be the best version of ourselves that we could possibly be.
Yes. That's beautiful. That's awesome. 18 years is something to brag about. That's amazing. So, Lexi, I know we didn't really talk about this, but Ryan said as soon as he saw you, he already knew. Did you know?
I did not know, no ma'am. When I saw him, honestly, I was wondering what his nationality was. Just
I
he
think
looked
we've all wondered.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
it's a little ambiguous, but when I heard him speak, I knew.
Yeah.
Okay, so it came through in the verbal. Okay, yes. Hey, that's okay, Ryan. That's okay.
Hey,
That's awesome.
I'm very
Yes.
what the Lord gave me. I can't help that.
I would like to make a little bit of a correction because he said that we had met just before he started at CTA.
No, but you're right. You're right.
So he started in 2006, but met in 2003.
That's correct. That's correct.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you got to set that record. We've been knowing each other for a good minute. Okay. And Lexi, you do something pretty interesting that I just don't know that I would be able to do. Can you tell us what you do for work?
So I am an official court reporter and is also known as a court stenographer. So for those who may not know what that is the person who sits in the courtroom and they have a little machine, and sometimes it may look like a little receipt is coming out of it, but nowadays we don't really use paper. So you sit in the courtroom with a little machine, and what we're doing is manually taking down what is being spoken in the courtroom. So whatever the judge, attorneys, witnesses say on the record, we take it down. And then later we produce a transcript for all parties or in case anyone wants to appeal their case.
Yeah. That's got to take a lot of active listening right there.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a pretty amazing career. She's an excellent court reporter. But I think
That's
it
awesome.
backfires on me because she don't forget nothing. She knows everything. She hears everything. So,
So them listening skills done got real good.
Yeah, ain't no point.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. I truly am honored. And I know that I've said it a few times, but I mean it wholeheartedly. I do not take it lightly that you're sitting here with me. And we're going to have a conversation. And I know that maybe you've had this conversation before, or maybe it's not a conversation you've had too often, and you can share that. But it's not an easy conversation, and it's not the easiest topic, right? But your willingness to be here and really share just means so much, so much. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to get right into it, and we can kind of start wherever you'd like. But essentially, Lexi and Ryan, what you both have agreed to come talk about is what it feels like and what the experience has been not having your own child, Lexi, not birthing your own child. You've had pregnancies, and we'll talk about that, but you've not been able to birth your own child and raise your child. So wherever you want to start with that, I know there's some hardships you went through as a teenager prior to all of this, so we can touch on that as well. But wherever you would like to start.
Well, if it's okay, I'd like to start from my childhood because
Absolutely.
as a child, as I already stated, my parents were in the home. And so I got to see a marriage. Actually, my parents will be celebrating 50 years of marriage next month.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I got to see a marriage, and I always knew that I wanted to be married from a little girl because I saw how my dad was with my mother, and so I knew I wanted to be married. I knew I wanted a family. I knew I wanted children. My mother would buy me, the prettiest dolls, the best dolls, and I would comb their hair and just play with them, and I just would have my little babies. So I knew that I wanted to have children, but I suffered from several different conditions, one being PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I also suffered from endometriosis and fibroids. So that caused me to have, I want to say, vicious cycles where they were just honestly really terrible, where each month I would be in such pain that I really couldn't function. I would be in bed, the whole time until those cramps would ease. I would just be in the bed. I would be vomiting, and it was really debilitating. And when I went to the doctor, maybe when I was about 19 or 20, I was told that there was a chance I may struggle to get pregnant, but I heard it, but I still had faith that I would have children.
Yeah, and I imagine that hearing that at such a young age, it's not, it might not be something that registers with people when you're that young. You're just starting out in life and, looking forward to different things. And like you said, you had that amazing childhood, which shouts out to your parents. I know them. They're pretty awesome. So shouts out to Uncle Freddie, but I'm grateful and glad that you had that example. And that's awesome that, you aspired to have that in your own life as you got older. But so you were told this piece of information that you may struggle to have children, but it wasn't like they said you won't have a child.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I believe that I would. I heard them, but I just didn't accept that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you went on about your life and you met Ryan. And so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, prior to that, I would like to say that I've always been very attached to children. I was a babysitter for one aunt. I was her main babysitter. And so I kind of helped raise those children. And then when my cousins, they had babies. So my cousins, who are also my sisters, shout out to Monica and Stephanie.
Yes. I like them too.
Yes. So they had my babies, so when they had their children, I was always around babies and always children. And I just believed that I was going to have children. So now bringing you up to the time that I met my husband. When I first met him, when he was trying to talk to me, one of the things I asked him was, do you have any children? And he said, no. And then he said, but I have one on the way. And I was like, in my mind, that was a deal breaker because I just didn't want any type of drama. He and we really didn't get serious at that time. We talked, but we didn't get serious at that time. And it was because of me, because I kept saying, well, I can't get serious with you because you have this baby on the way.
Right.
But,
That's understandable.
He was pretty relentless.
I like persistent.
Okay. Shouts out to Ryan.
Yeah, tomato. Okay.
Yeah. He was persistent. And when his daughter was born, he was so excited, and he wanted me to come to the hospital and see her. And I was like, I don't know about that, but he was like, oh no, you got to see her. She looks like me. I'm just so glad she got some color though, because but anyway,
she coming for you today.
So I went to the hospital to see this baby, and little did I know she was also my baby.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So you done met the baby. Y'all been talking. How did things progress from there where, she did end up being your baby too?
So some time went by where he kind of lost his way and so we kind of separated and didn't maintain a relationship for a while. But when he realized that I wasn't going to stand by and wait for him to make a decision on what he wanted to do with life.
Would you like me to give you another explanation? Get right to the point.
Sure. Get right to it, Ryan.
My mouth was saying I wanted to have a relationship with her and an exclusive relationship where that led to marriage. but my actions were not showing that. So although she had love for Sanaya, and I used Sanaya to make sure that I could see her, because I think because
Yeah.
I had Sanaya, she would be more willing to see me in my mess. I'm just telling the truth, right? Until
Hey,
she
keep it
laid her
real.
foot down. Actually, until she laid her foot down and said, "Look, I love Sanaya. I
Oh.
love you, but I have my standards of what I want.
Mm.
You're not gonna meet them. Then that means that although I love seeing Sanaya, I would have to cut that relationship off." And
Mm.
and
And
so yeah, I'm
and
sorry. Go ahead, baby.
because I told them that I know that I couldn't have, a relationship with Sanaya and it not affect he and I. And
Right.
so I told him that I won't come see Sanaya. I won't come pick her up. And I was very attached to her at this point because,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, times when he would have her, it would be his weekend. I would watch her while he'd be at work. And so she would stay with me. And, my family was, getting
Getting
attached
close to
to
her. Yeah.
it. So I told him though, but they were a package deal. So at that point, I told him no more, just no more access to me whatsoever. So a while later, he called back and was like, "I want to."
Smart
None of
man.
this came out in our prior meeting, so I just love
I
all of
know,
this.
isn't that great?
Sidebar,
But
I always be like, hey, we're not gonna talk about anything we didn't discuss in the meeting, and they're just surprising me, but I'm here for it. I love that. And Lexi, you got my wheels turned up. Like, she got to come back for another episode about boundaries and standards, because yes, queen. We didn't talk to these young bucks out here. No, that's awesome. And Ryan, I appreciate you too, just being like, hey, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, and I wasn't stepping up, and that's just what it was. And that's so real, especially when there's a child involved. Like, things can get so messy, so hurtful, so hard when those boundaries and those decisions aren't made. So that was good. I like that little detour we just took. That was good. So you called and was like, hey, I'm gonna need you to marry me. Like, that's where we at. And so you all got married. Tell me how life was going, and then up to the point where you decided you would want to start trying for your own child.
Okay, so we married in 2007.
Nice.
Sanaya was 4 years old. That's our daughter.
Aw.
And we didn't try to have a baby like that first year, but I would say 2008 was when we were like, okay, we want a baby. So
Nice.
we were trying to have a baby, but I never got pregnant. So I would say that was in 2008. So I would say in 2011, that was when I decided to go to a doctor and see what the issue was. And I began fertility treatment. And so
Mm,
that first round of fertility treatment was just taking medication.
okay.
Yeah. And then I think I did another round of fertility treatments, but I would take breaks in between there. It was just, the fertility treatment, you have to stay committed to it. And so
Yeah.
I would get over, when you don't get pregnant and then you get a little,
Mm-hmm.
then other things in life are going on. And so
Yeah.
I will put it on hold for a while, then come back to it, put it on hold for a while, come back to it. And so I think it's 4 different stages of the treatment. And then
Mm.
the ultimate cycle would be the in vitro fertilization.
Okay. And so, how was this process for you? Just witnessing and watching your wife go through this process of doing these treatments, so that you all could have a child together.
um, it wasn't something like we said we planned for. We were just looking for help, and wondering, well, obviously we are expecting this to happen and it's not happening. So I just supported her and our decision with just pursuing this route, not knowing if it would be successful or not. So Of course, I've heard about it
Yeah.
just through casual conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But then once we got a chance to meet the doctor, then I got a whole lot better understanding about what was going to be going on. Um, Although not our expected route,
Yeah.
but if we were going to have the result that we wanted, and it wasn't going to harm Lexi, I was all for it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Nothing is harmful. We don't want that. And did you all decide to kind of take this route because the recollection of all the things that you had experienced and been told when you were younger kind of came back up?
Well, yeah. So at that point, when we did the in vitro, we had been trying for about 9 years. And so,
Mm,
you know, I was 28 when we got married, and I was 37 when I did the in vitro. So, I just felt like, I'm getting a lot older. My 30s are kind of passing by. I'm approaching 40. So I kind of felt like, it's not that I didn't give it time. I
mm-hmm.
felt like, in 9 years, in what I would call my prime, my late 20s, early 30s, I felt like if it was going to happen naturally, it probably would have already happened. So I felt like medical intervention was the best route. The in vitro fertilization was a very difficult process. It wasn't
Mm,
just a 1 day thing. I was having to go to the doctor some weeks 7 days a week before I would go to work.
wow.
My husband was having to give me injections, and
Mm,
it was just different things. So they were having to monitor so much, so it was very intense. It was a lot of dedication to go
yeah.
through with it. But
Yeah.
I will say I did eventually get pregnant.
Yeah. Yes, and I appreciate you also telling us about that process too, because I don't think that most people know. I certainly didn't know that that's how that works, and that is a lot of dedication. Even before you said the word, that's exactly like you had to be very determined and consistent and dedicated to do this process. So thanks for sharing that. So you did eventually get pregnant. Tell us what happened from there.
So when I got pregnant, I was so happy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe how happy I was. So
Mm,
I just believed that God was gonna, see it through. It was gonna work out, and we were gonna have a baby. I just was praying for a healthy baby. I was praying that, God would give us wisdom in how to raise this baby.
yeah.
I would have been very happy for a boy, but I would have been very happy for a girl. I just wanted a healthy
Yeah.
baby at that point. So, I found out I was pregnant, I think like November 15th or so, um, 2016.
Okay.
And but it was very painful pregnancy from
Mm,
part. It was just all the hormones, all the medication that I had been taking, along with all my own health conditions. It wasn't a easy pregnancy. So from the start, it was very painful. I was trying to maintain my same lifestyle, going to work every day, going to church, going to rehearsals, singing in the praise team and choir.
yeah.
And it was a lot just trying to, because I didn't want to like, oh, I'm having a baby, so I can't do anything now. So
Right.
it was difficult, but January 5th, it was a Thursday, January 5th, 2017. I was in so much pain. I was laying in the bed. I turned
Wow.
this way, I turned that way, and I didn't want to take any medication because I didn't want to do anything to harm the baby. If
Yeah.
so, I told him it was the middle of the night. I told my husband he had to take me to the emergency room. So
Okay.
mm, I ended up going to the emergency room. And so this is like now the early mornings of January 6th. And
Mm-hmm.
I was just in the worst pain.
Wow.
It was like a gripping pain, like the it was painful to the touch. It was awful. It was awful.
Mm.
And so once they did the ultrasound, they said there was no heartbeat and
Wow.
they would have to do a procedure to remove everything. So that was very,
That
very
was tough. Yeah.
sad. That sad, yeah, sad is not really the right word. It was
Mm. It's
devastating.
devastating, I would
But
imagine.
the physical pain that I was in didn't even allow me to grieve at that moment what was being said because the
Wow.
physical pain was just too intense. So they attempted to do the procedure, and when I woke up from the procedure, they said, "I'm sorry, you know, your uterus is too big. We weren't able to do this." And so they sent me home with medication to induce labor and so I can have the miscarriage at home.
Wow.
Yeah, that was awful.
It sounds awful. It sounds awful. And so you're at home, you're, taking the medication, you're going through this pain. Ryan, how was it from your point of view, just watching your wife go through this?
Like I said, it was extremely difficult. Like she explained, not only the physical pain that she was going through, but also the emotional toll. I don't think for either one of us, because of her health at the time and how she was feeling, we knew what it was, but she's right. We couldn't really focus on that, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. We had to focus
Yeah.
on her getting healthier. I know my wife has dealt with extremely painful cycles, and I know this had to be even worse than anything that she's experienced,
Mm.
you know, as far as the cycles goes. And then once she was, I mean, it just seemed like gut punches. Like she mentioned,
Yeah.
hey, we find out she's going through the pain, and we lose the baby, and then okay, now we're going to perform this procedure, and then okay, we can't, and it's like one gut punch after another, and it's like,
Yeah.
when is it gonna stop? Why does it have to be this way? You know, and so for her to have to actually come home and finish it just it was unreal. It was unreal.
Yeah.
So I've never experienced
Wow.
anything like that. I mean, I I all I knew to do was just to be there for her in
Yeah.
whatever capacity I could have been, whether it was, physically helping her get what she needed to get around the house, getting whatever I need for she needed, and getting it for her, or just being in the
Yeah.
for. I just tried to do that. I just tried to do that.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, it's like, what do you do in a situation like this? There's literally nothing you can do to take away the pain, the physical pain that's happening, and then there's emotional pain that's coming after. There's going to be a process and may still continue to be a process of grief. I mean, on both of your ends, but especially with Lexi. And it's a lot. It's just a lot. And so I appreciate you sharing your side of how that was for you, because I can't imagine being the person trying to support and it's just, what do I do? So you're at home and, they've sent you home to induce labor to have the miscarriage. Did you want to share, like, what that process was for you, or did you kind of want to start moving forward? Whatever you want to do.
well, I expressed that it was terrible, and I'll
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you had that happen and, you kind of had to, you're going through this process of grief and you're just, trying to continue on with your life. What happened from there?
Hey, I'm Kia, Minister Kiki, aka the Sis Star. But above all, I am a daughter of the King. And I want to tell y'all about my Sis Star, the surrendered Gem Octavia. I was blessed. I was blessed to be a part of the Gem Method course. In this course, this is where iron sharpens iron. Real women, raw women. Real healing, real accountability, real kingdom sisterhood. We pray together. We pour into each other. We grow together. And baby, when I say we pull up for one another, we literally pull up. And in this Gem Method course, we have a workbook. I love this workbook. It allows you to do soul work. It promotes growth. So if you're ready to step into your God-given purpose boldly without shrinking back, then I encourage you, become a gem. And with that being said, let's get back to the podcast.
So from there, about 5 months later, I found out I was pregnant again. And
Okay.
this was a natural pregnancy. I didn't do
Wow.
fertility treatment. And so I said, well, maybe, God wanted us to have the baby naturally, because at that point, because of how I suffered, I declined to do any more fertility treatment because honestly,
Gotcha.
the doctor had, I had more embryos and that more frozen embryos, and
Mm.
kind of let the doctor know that I wouldn't go through that process again. So he eventually, after some time, let us know that he would discard them. But
Okay.
yeah, so I didn't go through that process again. But like I said, I got pregnant 5 months later, natural,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I also lost that baby. So that was tough too. I will say it wasn't nearly as painful as the first, but it was still painful. But what made me happy was that, oh, I got pregnant naturally. And
Yeah.
so I was like, well, this is my first time getting pregnant naturally. So
Right.
that gave me hope for another chance.
Yeah. And so you had another hard thing happen, but you, again, both of you continue to push forward and to have hope and believe that this would still happen for you. So tell us what happened next.
So after so I was 37 still at that time. And after that point, I just kind of, just kept praying for a while, asking God, like when the new year would come in, Lord, is this year? I wonder what's going to happen this year. I wonder if I'll get
Yeah.
this year. I
Y-
wonder if I'll have a baby this year. So there was always a question mark. You're like, will this happen for me?
Mm-hmm.
Us. And after a few years, I just kind of pushed it out of my mind. Like, at this point, I'm 40 years old now, so I kind of pushed it out of my mind that, it's not going to happen. My mom would tell me about other people who had babies at 48 and 46 and things like that. But I was like,
Yeah.
so, but at 41, I
Wow.
41, I found myself pregnant again. And
Wow.
at that point, I hadn't even been praying for this baby. So honestly, I kind of felt like in the Bible, the Shunammite woman who hadn't asked for a baby at that point, but God had granted her that. So I
Yeah.
felt like I was the Shunammite woman where I kind of left that prayer alone. It was a desire in the back of my head, but I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
doing or seeking for that. So I
Yeah.
felt like this was just,
This is it.
yeah, I felt like it was God's will.
Yeah.
So I really, because after a while with the second pregnancy, when I didn't get pregnant after a couple years after the second miscarriage, I said, well, maybe I just got pregnant because I still had so much of the medication still in my system.
Mm.
Maybe that's, the reason I was able to get pregnant, so fast after
Yeah.
having that miscarriage. And so at this point, it's 4 years has passed since
Mm-hmm.
the second miscarriage. And so I'm like, okay, but this has to be the will of the Lord.
Yeah.
So, after a while, I found out there was no heartbeat, and
Mm.
yeah, and I lost that baby too. That was at 41.
Now, this pregnancy, if I'm remembering right, this one was, I mean, I don't even know if any of them could have been the hardest blow, but this one was like the ultimate one. I don't even know what we would call it at this point, but
Well, with this one, I felt like this one was my last chance. I kind of felt like that because I was 41. So I felt like this was it. So it was definitely more devastating than the previous miscarriage. A lot more devastating.
yeah. And what kind of put that final blow for you with this one?
Okay, so well, I would say a few years later, the fibroids, they were growing and growing and they were multiplying until
Mm,
my uterus was just full of fibroids. I wanted to just get the fibroids removed, but each doctor that I went to just said it was just way too risky to try to remove all these fibroids from my
yeah.
uterus. Even though I was 45 at the time, I just felt like, but my mom told me about so many people that with late pregnancy. I just didn't want to get rid of my uterus.
Yeah.
But the pain that I began to have, it really left me no choice. So
Mm,
January 27th, 2025, I had to have a total abdominal hysterectomy where
wow.
so, some people have partial hysterectomies but this was a full hysterectomy where they removed my fallopian tubes, my cervix, my uterus. So everything is gone. So that
Mm,
it's very, very hard because whereas I would still have some hope, even
yeah.
though the hope was dwindling for sure. It was dwindling with each passing year. But
Right.
that the finality of it was just and it's still hard. That is still
Um,
hard right now.
Yeah, that whole process of the fibroids, just growing and more, it was like a process over years where her pain would just increase. I just remember Lexi like feel right here, Ryan, and you could just feel them to the surface of her
wow.
stomach, like it was like a skin, and you can feel this knot, and so that whole process as far as like we talked about, well, is this the right decision? What should I do? Should I go through with this? And then we talked about the pros and cons of trying to remove them, and
Yeah.
and it just got to the point where the pain was just so unbearable. We felt there was nothing else to do but to remove, just to have this hysterectomy, just to relieve her of this pain. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, very,
I can
very,
imagine that was a super hard decision. That was, I mean, hard isn't even the word.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just hearing all of this, we've known each other for some time, but I never really knew the details of your life or the things that you were experiencing. I remember one of the times when you did announce that you were pregnant, I remember how excited I was for you. I remember sharing in that excitement, but I didn't know the details of the journey that you were experiencing and all of the backstory. And I just have so much respect and so much honor for both of you, and especially you, Lexi, just because anyone that like really just didn't know the details, they would never have known that you were going through such a difficult time. Um, Never would have known. And so you continue to just show up, you continue to just be you. It just was never evident to me that you were experiencing any of this. Um, so you've had this total hysterectomy and now you're kind of like, well, this is it. Like, there's no more hope. The hope is gone. Like it's not going to happen. How was it for you sitting in that reality that I'm not going to have any children of my own?
Well, just that thought, it was just devastating. I mean, the grief, the tears, it was like a death. It was literally like someone had died and losing the hope of being able to have
Wow.
children.
And I know that you love and have loved Sanaya, all of her life. And so you've had that joy, and you both have been able to share that joy, but also realizing that you wouldn't be able to experience that all over again, right? Watching her grow. And, a lot of people desire to do that and have that process. And so you didn't get to have that. That's heavy. That's really heavy.
It's something I think about there is not a day that I do not think about it. And it's always on my mind. So like Mother's Day, my husband was just, he feels me, he knows how I feel. So he also shares in that same grief too.
Yeah.
Because I wanted a baby, but also I wanted to give him a baby. I wanted to give him I wanted a baby, that looked like us both and had his green eyes and but I will say part of me not wanting to share, because this is not an easy topic to talk about, but also part of me not wanting to talk about this particular subject is because I didn't know, what I could say as far as the happy ending, because a lot of times you hear these sad stories, but then there's this happy ending. So I will say it's not the ending that I envisioned. It's not the ending that I wanted,
prayed for,
hope for.
Yeah.
But I will say that I do get a lot of joy from the babies that I love.
Yeah.
I have a niece who's 16, one who is 11. I have two that are 6, and I have a 1-year-old niece who is also my goddaughter. And then I have a godson who is 7. So I do have a lot of babies,
Yes. Yeah.
I adore them. They love me. From the time that they were born, I've been very present, very involved, and attached to them, and so they're attached to me. I love when I'm holding my baby niece, and when Dad,
is that who I saw you with the last time I saw you?
Yes. Yeah. Like if her dad or her mom tries to take her from me, and then she'd be like,
That happened to me last night at rehearsal. I went to go grab her, and I thought I was the boogeyman or something.
I had my baby, and her dad, Chris, came and tried to take her. She was like,
I'm at home. I'm where I want to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that's so awesome.
They give me so much joy, so much. And some people, they think I'm obsessed with them, and I am. But I am a little obsessed. But
this much,
they don't understand. They don't understand. They really do help me. Yeah.
It's a part of your healing. Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
I'll say this, and this is something that I still deal with. As far as we won't be able to have a child of our own. I feel like it's totally unfair. And sit here and we talk about how Lexi, that's one of the reasons why I trusted Lexi so much with Sanaya, right? I made a point that, okay, I'm not gonna have Sanaya around all these different type of women, around somebody who I'm committed with and who I trust. And I knew what type of woman Lexi was, what type of auntie she was. And so I felt comfortable with her, with Sanaya. I knew Sanaya would be
Yeah.
loved. I just feel it's totally
Wow.
unfair because I don't know anyone uh, who is more worthy, and
Yeah.
I do question, and that's something that I'm just gonna question. Why wasn't she able? Why weren't we able? You know, I'm assuming. Okay, Lord, you know why, right? But it's still, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's more deserving than my wife. And
Yeah.
really, as much as she wanted that for me, I wanted that for her. I wanted her to experience
Right.
that for herself. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't, and I tell her this every chance I get. I couldn't have asked for a better mother for.
Mm.
I just can't. Sinai has a biological mother, and
And I
God bless
wanted
her.
to say that
But
too. I wanted to say that Sanaya has a mother. I never tried to take her mother's place because Sanaya has
Right.
a very involved, very loving, very nurturing mother that's
Yeah.
present in her life. So the only thing I wanted to do was add to
yeah,
her, add
Right. That's
whatever
beautiful.
I could do. I wanted to just be that motherly figure and
Yeah.
just bring that nurturing, just what I have to offer.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
I just gave all that I had to her.
she absolutely did. And Sanaya is a phenomenal young lady. And
Yeah.
I tell Lexi today, tomorrow, forever, it is because of everything that she's instilled in Sanaya, and in addition with her mom. But I was in this house, you know what I'm saying? And I know Lexi stepped in, and when I wasn't there, and I gave her from day one. You have every authority over Sanaya and decision making that I would, and I'm giving that to you. And a baby, again, publicly, I just thank you so much for all you've done for
Mm.
and raising her to be the young lady she is today. Absolutely.
And she's
Yeah.
23 years old
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yes, 23. Yes, tonight she's beautiful. Yeah, you all did a great job with her. Shouts out to her mom, shouts out to Lexi, shouts out to everybody. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that, Ryan, because some folks find it difficult, or there's, I feel like some people just kind of have that I shouldn't say this, or this kind of false humility, and aren't really sharing how they're really feeling about some of the hard things they experience. But you're like, this is how I'm feeling. Like, I don't think it's fair. And
Yeah.
I think that that's very important to say that, and that you have questions for God. And I don't believe that God shies away from our questions. It's really up to him whether he chooses to give you the answer, and whether he gives it to you, whether he doesn't, he's still God, but he might grant you that answer. And one day it may all make sense. But I appreciate you sharing the reality of what you all have been experiencing and how it's been from your side of things. I can concur, Lexi, like just what I've seen from you with children. I mean, I always see you with a child. Every time I see you, you hold a child. And I don't be knowing whose baby it is, but I'm like, okay, she got she got another baby. That's good. The little baby y'all had, she was cute. Now her dress was cute. And so yes, I can tell that children bring you joy, and I am grateful that you have children surrounding you, although it will never be a replacement for what you've gone through and the loss that you've experienced. I'm so, so grateful for you sharing that. As we come to a close, I'm curious, with all of the loss, with all of the pain, and just this extinguished hope that you're now living in, how do you keep going? How do you keep trusting in God? What moves you forward?
This may sound strange, but sometimes I just think that maybe when I'm in the kingdom, when we all make it into the kingdom, I'm gonna meet my babies. and see them. And I don't know what that might be a crazy thought, but that's something that I think like maybe I'll one day get to meet them.
Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think that's
So
crazy.
I don't know. I don't know.
That really warms my heart that you just said that. Yeah.
Okay. So I think about that. And like I said, my faith in God, just all the love that I received from everywhere, but particularly children. And I just ultimately have to trust God's will. I don't know why it wasn't his will for us to have children together, but I ultimately do trust his will. And you know, I want to say this. I have had plenty of people around me during this time have babies all around me, and I've never been jealous of them. I've always been happy for them. I never felt like, oh, it should be me instead of them,
Yeah.
But I will say I work in the child protection division of the juvenile court system.
Oh, wow.
And so I do hear a lot of cases of abused and neglected children. And when I hear those cases, that's when I'm like,
hard.
they don't like when I hear some parents who allow their children to be neglected, or the ones that actually abuse there are parents that literally torture their children. And then that's when I wonder, like,
why not me?
Yeah, why, instead of them, because they clearly they didn't appreciate the gift God gave them.
Right. That's right.
That's real.
Yeah. So, but again, my peace and my joy, it still just boils down to having faith in God and just trust perfect will, because he knows what I don't know. I don't want to think like this, but I will say there are some parents who didn't know they gave birth to a serial killer. Not that I would have had that, but I don't think that. But I'm
raise them up the way you should go. Yeah,
that's right. But I'm just saying. So or it could have been a severe illness that would have taken a around the clock care.
Yeah.
We just don't know. This is just all me just trying to, figure out or
make sense of it all.
Yeah, make sense of it. But
that makes sense to me. I mean, I would have all types of thoughts as well. I believe what you're sharing would be expected. I don't think anything you're saying is why would she question, or why would she say that? I don't know anyone outside of my mom that has gone through anything close to you. Everybody had their own journey, and to see her continuing on and just being strong, honestly, mad respect. So much respect for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Ryan, any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Yeah, Lexi is absolutely the strongest person. Some people, I think sometimes something like this could even break a marriage, right? And be difficult
Absolutely.
to move on from. And she's so strong. And you never know what a person is going through. You mentioned that earlier. Even social media can but false sense of
absolutely
somebody they got it together over there. And it's looking very pretty. The circumstance is looking very good, very good. But you just never know. And so
you never know.
What I take from it is very similar to what Lexi said.
Yeah.
Despite it all, we still have to trust in the Lord. And I think about how he has just blessed my life tremendously, just meeting Lexi, right? And just changing the way I think, changing my life. And he's still a provider. And so I think we can question why not us?
Mm-hmm.
then you got to also be grateful for why it has been us, right? And so
Yeah.
kind of look at the glass half full or half empty,
Yeah.
however you want to, but you
Yeah.
run down a laundry list of how he has blessed us,
Mm.
and so I will never, like turn my back on the Lord and God and
Amen.
how He's blessed us. This is just a very difficult chapter
Yes.
in our book. It is very difficult, but
Yeah.
we still believe, right?
Mm.
Still believe, and so I think that takes tremendous strength to even still believe when you're going through it. If there's a silver lining is, regardless of what you go through, regardless of what you're going to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
God is God.
God
He
is God.
He is who He is.
Yeah.
And He is love. And so
Mm.
that's what we hold on to. That's what we hold on to. I'll say this. I know we talked about Mother's Day being difficult, but my wife sent me this picture that kind of like meshed her and what our baby would look like.
Oh.
Baby was so beautiful. So when she mentioned about seeing our babies in heaven, that kind of what pulled on me. And I haven't really heard her say that. And I'm happy about that because I want to see that now.
It's a new hope.
It's a new hope.
Wow.
It's a new hope. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. This was good. This was really good. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. There are a lot of things that we all experience in life, and there's not a clear happy ending.
Yeah.
I think for you all, what I'm hearing is it's the hope in Jesus. It's the hope for what may come. It's the belief, it's the faith that no matter what, God is God, God is love. He knows what He's doing. And so I rest in that. There doesn't need to be this happy ending, because really what the message is, stand on faith and believe that God is God. Period.
Period.
That's it.
Period.
That's it.
I love it. I love it. I know that I shared with you all when we met that, I'm in Job, and it honestly, I know that there's many things that Job went through that none of us, Lord, let that not be any of our portion. I don't want no worms. I don't want no bumps. I don't want no oozing.
Yeah, none of that. Yeah.
We don't need none of that.
Uh-huh.
But when it came to Job, what stood out to me was within the first few chapters, he said, naked I entered, naked I'll leave. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
And it's like, at the end of the day, He gives and He takes away, and He's still God.
Amen.
And I'm still going to bless His name. And that's what I hear from you all. This was such an inspiration. You shared one of the most vulnerable, hard parts of your life with us. And I'm so grateful for you. I know that what you shared is going to help someone, is going to help them along their healing journey. And I love that you all shared transparently. I love that you shared, like, Ryan, this ain't fair. Like, this is what it is, because people have those real feelings, and we need to hear other people share that. And I know that, Lexi, you've heard me share about heart sleep, and that's exactly what God told me. It's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to feel. It's okay to talk about it. And I believe it's okay for you all to ask the questions. And I'm going to say this and we'll wrap up. I pray that God reveals the answer.
Amen.
I pray that God reveals the answer and that God gives you what you need as you rest in Him. He sees your faithfulness. He sees your heart. He sees your union. I love that too, Ryan, that this could have broken up a marriage, but here you sit together.
Yes.
So I pray that whatever it is that you need, God grants it.
Thank you. Amen.
Thank you so much for that.
Amen.
You. Amen.
Thank you for being here, y'all.
Yes.
This was an episode. Okay. This was an episode. Do you have any final words before we close out?
Just thank you. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
this. We're grateful. And like you said, we just hope that someone can hear our testimony and be encouraged.
At least know they're not alone.
That's right.
Yes.
The only one that may be going through this type of situation.
Yep.
Yeah. You're absolutely welcome. You all gave me a gift, so thank you. And I will be sending something your way between now and your launch day of your episode. So be looking for that. And thank you all for joining us for this episode. We will see you next time. Take care.